Hey Brick Boys and Brick Girls, it's your boy BrickBoyLego, and today we have a very special Lego Star Wars review for you guys. We actually have a double feature. That's right, we are going to be reviewing two sets, one from 2002 and one from this year, 2022. That's about a 20-year difference if you do the math right. So let's take a look at what we're reviewing today, huh? That's right, we are reviewing the Jedi Starfighter sets, the most recent one and the oldest one. The original Jedi Starfighter set was set 7143, came out in 2002, came with 183 pieces and one minifigure, and it retailed for $20 flat. Do a little fast forward all the way to 2022. We've got Obi-Wan Kenobi's Jedi Starfighter. This is set 75333. Came with 282 pieces, retailed for $29.99, and released this year in 2022. And I know what you're thinking, are we missing one system scale Jedi Starfighter? Yes, and that is the Jedi Starfighter with hyperdrive, set 75191, released in 2017. I don't have this set personally, and it came with a hyper ring, so not an apples to apples comparison here, and we're all about them apples at BrickBoyLego. I don't know what that means. So we're gonna do the normal thing. We're gonna build both sets, and then we're gonna review both sets and see how they compare after 20 years, and if it's worth picking up the new set. Without any other further distractions, let's get right into the build of the old classic, the Jedi Starfighter. So starting off with your one and only minifigure, you've got your old Ben Kenobi, and here you have the base of the starship being built here. You build the two little engines and landing gear, which are connected together. You build the front landing gear as well, and then you continue building onto the rest of the ship. Little flaps there are going to be what hold the wings. And as you can see here, the wings are getting built. They slide right up on there. And then you essentially build the same thing on the other side too. You have your little R4 droid in there, and then you build the nose of the Jedi Starfighter. It slides right in there. I think that's a pretty interesting technique. And then you continue building the back of the ship here. You slide in your little tail fin, and that about wraps it up for this one. So let's take a look at the 2002 set, shall we? Starting with the minifigures, aka the minifigure. So here he is, the one and only Obi-Wan Kenobi. When Lego first started making the Star Wars minifigures, they made them in yellow, the classic Lego color. What do we think about them changing it to the flesh tone color of the actors? Honestly, I think it's probably the right choice. I mean, he is very nostalgic for me, but the new one that we'll see later is a big upgrade. I mean, Obi-Wan's hair is interesting. Printing is pretty basic here, and as you can see, he only has his headset and little gold piece of the headset available. No back printing at this point in time. You've got your beautiful chrome lightsaber there and your little scope here. So two little accessories for our boy. And then I'll talk about it even though it's not actually a minifigure. We've got the R4 helmet head. And we're going to take a little time out here because actually, if you go on Bricklink, this is listed as the R5D4 droid, which actually looks like this. And that's not the droid that is in here. Technically, it's R4P17. So interesting of them to use the same droid. And this is the only set that R4 did not have a body with the set. It's just the head here. And it's pretty stationary. This is not moving. So that's going to do it for the minifigures. Let's look at the play features and the build itself. Oh my god. As you can tell, we have some stability issues here with this original Jedi Starfighter. We'll take a gander here on the bottom at the landing. You've got this is your front landing gear, can fold up, fits in there pretty nicely when you're swooshing it around. And then you've got your two other landing gear here as well. These can pretty easily move here and get tucked in so that when you're in flight mode, you're not really seeing the landing gear too bad. And I mean, overall, it looks like a pretty good ship. It looks just like the Jedi Starfighter itself. They really did a good job of getting the angles here and getting this subtle curve. And then another thing that I really do like about this set too is these big, giant printed pieces. You have no stickers at all in this set. So you've got, this is not a sticker, printed on both sides. I love this big piece. I think this was one of the first times too that they used the dark red color, so I think that's very interesting as well. And then you've got all of these pieces here are nice big printed pieces. I mean, look at that. Look, that looks incredible. You can't beat that. Even this is not a sticker. I will say one of my complaints with the landing gear is that it's like not very stable either. With your engine in the back, these feet go down pretty fine. Well, that can also happen. And that also can happen. So if you put the feet all down like this, it's not flush if you do it like this. So wow, this set really is a lot more fragile than I remember. So you have to set it out like this in order for the feet to be flush on the ground. Which, I mean, is fine, but as you can see, it's not the sturdiest thing.
This is very accurate to how the landing gear is in the movie itself, though.
Now let's talk about the old cockpit here. So Obi-Wan can fit in here nicely. You do have to remove the cockpit piece completely in order to get the minifigure in there. You got a big hole here. You probably could have put a 1x3 plate here to close that up, but I mean, it's not awful. They have back here a little compartment if you want to put his lightsaber too. So I thought that was a nice little touch, even though that's really not how a lightsaber is going to be stored. So I mean, that's really going to do it for this one. I mean, let's look at the swoosh ability, shall we? Alright, now let's look at the 2022 version. So starting out in bag 1 here, you have Obi-Wan Kenobi with a little upgraded minifigure, and it even includes a little hood. And then you begin building the base of the Jedi Starfighter itself. You can already tell that this build is a little different than the 2002 version, and you already are adding the nose of the starship, which was one of the last things that you did in the original version. You also are adding some side paneling here, and then your engines are actually right attached there to the base, and they are not part of the landing gear like in the original. Then into your next bag, you have your Kaminoan minifigure, Tanway. What a beautiful gal she is. And then you just continue building on to your starship. The back fin here is not a big panel like in the original, but that's okay. It's an interesting technique there. And then you can see the wing attaching here is also different than the original. Definitely going to be more stable with those Technic pieces in there. And then your last bag has your little droid, and you continue building the final wing of the starship. Attach that bad boy right up on there. Then you put your final landing gear here on the bottom, and then you are pretty much done here. Starting with the 2022 version of this set, we're going to look at the minifigures, and you have an amazing selection. Obi-Wan Kenobi, there he is. This is definitely going to be an upgrade here on pretty much everything. You've got feet printing, great torso printing, printing on the back, and you have 2 printings there. So let's look side by side, and what are we working with? In the battle of the Obi-Wans, who's gonna win here? I think the choice is pretty clear. We're gonna be this one from 2022. Very nostalgic, but that printing is amazing. A lot more detail here. I think maybe really the only thing that this is gonna win is in the lightsaber hilt department. I mean, look at that hilt. That's beautiful, that chrome. I miss that chrome so much. And even with years of play, let's can we take a minute to admire? No chips on that chrome. All right, now back to this Obi-Wan. I like that this one came also with the hood and the expression without the microphone. I love that they gave you all those options. Oh my god, and that hair, look at that hair, is so much better. R4 droid here, and he has a body. What a shocker. He looks great. Looks just like how he did. And then what we've all been waiting for, this is our first Lego Kaminoan. And I mean, Lego did an amazing job with this minifigure. I could not be any happier. look at this thing. Nice and tall. Here's your side-by-side comparison. For an alien species that's very thin and very tall, to be translated this well into Lego, they did an amazing job. I mean, look at this thing. Alright, now let's look at the play features. So here she is, the old Jedi Starfighter herself. I mean, complaints. Well, I guess we could talk about complaints first. Stickers, stickers, stickers. All over the place. This is a sticker. What a nightmare. Is this a sticker? What a disaster. And then the other complaint that I've seen a lot of people complain about is there's a really big open gap here. It's pretty big of a gap. I don't know. I definitely don't dislike the shape. The shape looks good, and they definitely have a lot of improvements. Stability-wise, very, very stable. I mean, that thing is not coming apart like that. The way that they attach these wings are substantially different and substantially stronger. And then let's talk about the landing gear, since I complained about that in the other one. You can put this all the way down, no having a fumble with putting it a specific way. And once it's all the way down, it's flush here, so you are sitting pretty just like that. Super easy, no problems there. For some reason they decided to put 2 stud shooters here. Not my favorite tactic, but what can you do? And then let's take a look, because I really like this a lot. You can take the old R4's head off here, plop him down, and then you can put him right here on this turnstile so that he can fit into the Starfighter. I think that's a really cute touch. And then also you have a little cockpit here. Covered, fits the body in right there, and you're good to go. Perfect. That was absolutely an amazing solution for the problem of having just the head in the 2002 version. So now let's look at the cockpit, and if you're in the cockpit, you gotta have your headset on. One of the things that I really like here as well is that you don't have to take this piece off. It flips right up, and Obi-Wan sits right there. Oh, and I really do also like the headrest here that they included. I think it really looks like a cockpit. Even though this one little 1x1 clip is just chilling there, it looks like a headrest. So Obi-Wan sits right in there, that closes right there, and you guys are ready to go. I mean, look at that. He is ready to go to Kamino and find his lost planet. How embarrassing.
Lost the planet? How embarrassing.
One last little play feature here. They included this little disc. Have R4 transmit a message. So now, let's take a gander of the 2 ships side by side, shall we? Oh, and one more thing. We gotta do the swooshability test. Let's do that right now. Here we are, right next to each other now. Alright, so as you can see, the 2002 version is a little bit longer and a little bit wider. But sometimes bigger isn't better, if you know what I mean. Looking at the back, I really do like how they did the engines this time. The engines are much bigger. They're not attached to the landing gear. Oh, like I was saying, you don't need the stud shooters like you'd have here in the 2022 version. You have those same guns right there, and you can just pew, 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 pew. Very cool to do. Pew, 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 pew. And then, I mean, with this, you've got pew pew too. That's it. You know who doesn't run out of ammo is Jango Fett. So this one, very nostalgic. I wouldn't give this one up. At the end of the day, this set definitely is the clear winner. Now let's take a gander at the minifigures a little closer and see what they are going for on BrickLink now. So starting with our old Obi-Wan Kenobi, he's going to run you about $12.24, actually the most expensive minifigure out of all the minifigures that we talk about here. And then you got R5-D5's head. The head alone is going to cost you about $141 on BrickLink. And then moving on to our 2022 versions, you have Obi-Wan Kenobi, surprised that he's only $735. It's probably because this set is so new. I'm sure once the set retires, this minifigure price will go up. And then here you can see him with his alternate head printing and his hood up. definitely a major improvement from the original. Then you have your R4P17 droid here. He's going to run you about $454 on Bricklink, not too shabby. And then you have Ton Wei, your first Kaminoan minifigure. She's going to run you $1164. Definitely expect this one to go up in price in the future. Alright, so what do we think? Brick Boys and Brick Girls, is the classic from 2002 the winner? I don't think so. There's just way too many improvements that they've done this year. You have a great minifigure selection, a very solid, stable design on your ship. Yeah, stickers, okay, whatever. But you know what? You actually have a 10-cent a piece, part per piece breakout, which you know I'm a big proponent of. Possibly a preposterous reason not to purchase this set. This is a great iconic ship from the prequel era, and you got one of the best sound clips ever. I'll give the old set a good 3 out of 5 Bobas, and I'll give the new set a good, let's give them a 4 out of 5. So that's going to do it for today's review. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe if you haven't already. And tune in next time for more Star Wars reviews coming soon.